The Living Wage versus Post-Secondary Graduate Earnings tool helps us analyze earnings data from the PSEO data set with a focus on cost of living. This tool can be used in a variety of ways, but its primary function is to help us analyze earnings data relative to the living wage in specific metropolitan areas or cities. The living wage is the amount of money required each year to meet basic living requirements like transportation, housing, and food. Let's see how this tool works. At the top are a set of filters that allow you to narrow down the data in the tool. On the left are filters about your academic studies. First, we have a filter for the graduating institution, the college or university you graduated from. Next, we have a filter for your degree level, and then your program of study. Finally, there's a filter for graduation cohort. This narrows down the data to a specific subset of graduates in the dataset. For most analysis questions, we recommend using all cohorts. On the right, we have filters for information about after graduation. First, there's a filter for earnings period, which narrows down the data to a specific point after graduation. You can select 1, 5, or 10 years after graduation. Next is a filter for the destination state, the states you'd like to look at living wage data for by metropolitan area. And finally, there are two filters about your family configuration, the number of adults in your family and the number of children in your family. These values will affect the living wage calculation shown in the table below. At the bottom, the median annual earnings of graduates in the selected program are shown in blue above the table. Below that is information about the living wage for each metropolitan area in the state selected above. The second column shows the variance between the living wage for a selected metropolitan area and the program earnings for graduates in the program selected above. That is, the difference between the living wage and potential earnings for graduates. The third column shows that variance as a percentage. A green row indicates that the median earnings for graduates in the selected program are higher than the living wage for a particular metropolitan area. A red row indicates that the median earnings for graduates are less than the living wage for a particular metropolitan area. This information can be used to evaluate how earnings for graduates compare against living wages for particular metropolitan areas in a selected state. This can be used to help you make decisions about where you may want to go after graduation. Now that you understand how this tool works, you too can use it to explore potential options for where you may want to live and work after graduation. For more technical information, please consult the documentation linked at the bottom of the tool.